The WNBA has found itself in an unexpected state of panic after Caitlin Clark's recent injury sparked a massive outcry, only from fans but also from players, media outlets, and even sponsors. The ripple effect has been nothing short of shocking, with whispers of boycott, outrage across social platforms, and a noticeable decline in viewership. What started as a routine season with surging excitement over Clark's debut has quickly spiraled into a moment of crisis for the league. And now, all eyes are on how the WNBA will respond to the chaos it helped create. Caitlin Clark's rise to stardom was one of the biggest things to happen in women's basketball in recent history. From record-breaking performances at Iowa to becoming the #1 pick in the WNBA draft by the Indiana Fever, she carried a sense of promise and revival for a league that has long struggled with attention and viewership. She wasn't just another Ricochet, was a cultural phenomenon. Every Fever game featuring Clark became a national event. Merchandise sales exploded. Networks fought for broadcasting rights. The league was finally on the front page, but with that spotlight came pressure, scrutiny, and unfortunately, backlash. The season started with high hopes, but it didn't take long for physicality against Clark to become a topic of heated debate. In almost every game, she was targeted aggressively on the court. Some called it tough defense, while others saw it as outright bullying and retaliation for the fame she brought with her. Whether it was hard screens, excessive contact, or trash talk that crossed lines, fans grew increasingly concerned. The tipping point came when Clark suffered an injury that forced her out of a game and potentially more to come. What had been bubbling under the surface exploded. Immediately after news of her injury broke, social media erupted with reactions. The hashtag #ProtectCaitlin trended nationwide, with fans demanding answers from the league about why Clark had not been protected more aggressively by referees and officials. Analysts pointed out repeated missed calls in games where she was clearly being targeted. Commentators, former players, and even WNBA legends weighed in, noting that while physicality is part of the game, what Caitlin was enduring went beyond competitive play. It looked personal. It looked intentional. But what made this injury different wasn't just Clark going down, it was the wave of action that followed. Fans began voicing their discontent with more than just words. Many started tuning out. Viewership numbers, which had been climbing to historic levels thanks to Clark, suddenly dipped. Networks noticed. The drop wasn't subtle, it was sharp and unmistakable. For a league already walking a fine line between growth and survival, this was a serious red flag. Sponsors, too, started asking tough questions. Several major brands who had invested heavily in WNBA marketing centered around Clark began expressing concerns behind closed doors. While none have publicly pulled out, insiders say there's real unease about whether the league can ensure the safety and long-term participation of its brightest star. The very foundation of the WNBA's resurgence seemed to be cracking, not because of a marketing error or team misstep, but due to what many now see as institutional neglect. Even more striking, fans didn't just boycott broadcasts, they began boycotting arenas. Indiana Fever ticket holders voiced frustration online, with some threatening not to renew their passes unless they saw concrete steps from the WNBA to change how the game is being officiated and managed. For a league trying to build strong fan bases in markets like Indiana, this was devastating. The team that had the highest buzz just weeks ago is now surrounded by uncertainty. Players around the league have been split. Some, like A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart, have publicly shown support for Clark and emphasized the need to protect all players. Others have remained silent or doubled down on the idea that Clark needs to earn her respect. This divide isn't just about opinions, it reflects a larger cultural tension within the league. Caitlin Clark brought millions of new eyes to the WNBA, but not everyone within the league was ready or willing to welcome that change. Then there's the media, which has started pressing the league office for answers. When asked directly about Clark's injury and the league's role in it, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert gave a measured response, stating that player safety is always a top priority. But to many fans, that response felt too little, too late. They wanted action, stricter officiating, suspensions for excessive fouls, clearer statements in support of player well-being. Instead, they got corporate PR. This gap between what fans expect and what the league delivers has created a vacuum, and it's being filled by outrage, misinformation, and worst of all, disengagement. When you lose the trust of your core audience, it's hard to get it back. And right now, many longtime and new WNBA fans are asking the same question. Why should I keep watching if the league can't even protect the reason I started watching in the first place? Adding fuel to the fire are commentators and influencers who had previously celebrated the league's rise. Some have now turned critical, openly wondering if the WNBA missed its once-in-a-generation opportunity by not doing more to support Clark. They point to NBA parallels, where stars are protected and prioritized for the good of the league. When LeBron James entered the NBA, referees didn't allow him to be physically abused every night. But in Clark's case, it seems like she was. Thrown into the deep end without a life vest, there's also the matter of morale inside the Fever locker room. Sources suggest that the team is deeply shaken, not just because of Clark's injury, but because of the circus surrounding it. Teammates reportedly feel the weight of the media storm and the unrealistic expectations now tied to every game. Coaches are left trying to manage both performance and emotional stability in a season that was supposed to be exciting and transformational. Meanwhile, WNBA leadership is said to be in constant meetings behind the scenes. Internal memos have urged teams to emphasize sportsmanship, and there are rumors of stricter rules being quietly introduced to regulate dangerous plays. But the real test will be what happens next time Clark steps onto the court. Will referees finally call the game tighter when she's involved? Will the league issue public fines or statements when dirty plays happen? Or will they continue the business-as-usual strategy that has already cost them so much goodwill? The truth is, the WNBA was on the verge of something incredible. Caitlin Clark gave them a spotlight they hadn't seen in years, perhaps, ever. But fame and attention are fragile. It only takes one misstep to turn a success story into a cautionary tale. Right now, the WNBA is at that exact crossroads. What they do next will not just affect Caitlin Clark or the Indiana Fever, it could determine the future of the league itself. If fans continue to turn off their TVs, skip games, and withdraw support, the WNBA may face a setback that could take years to recover from. Conversely, if they truly listen to the community, protect their players, and embrace this moment with accountability and transparency, they may still salvage the momentum they've built. One thing is certain, this is no longer just about basketball. It's about trust. It's about responsibility. And it's about whether the WNBA is ready to grow up and be the league the world is finally watching. Caitlin Clark's injury was a wake-up call, and now the clock is ticking.